Welcome back to your weekly dose of all things Liverpool FC on a show on the Dynamo Podcast Network that we bring you each and every week called the Shankly Sessions. Joining me today for this show, my partner on the Shankly Sessions, Dean Fitz. How you doing, Dean?
Oh, good, my man. Always good to come on and talk about our beloved Reds. Getting closer to the start of the season. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's getting real exciting now. Euros are going to be out of the way. Transfers are going to be happening like crazy. Pre-season matches, all that. Get really excited. We've also booked a number of trips to go over this season. A lot of fun coming ahead after all this COVID crap and stuff like that. So really looking forward to it. As always, if you'd like to contact the show, you'll get us at Sessions Shankly on Twitter. Hit us up there with any thoughts, opinion, comments, feedback. If you'd like to come on the show, anything to discuss, hit us up there. We're always available 24/7. Let's get into this. Some news from Liverpool this week. Harvey Elliott interview. I want to prove the faith in me right. What a statement from a young lad like that. Signs a new contract. Absolutely fantastic. You called this a few weeks ago. You said he could be a big part of this season, which is impressive. So what you thinking? All good?
Oh, I couldn't be happier for not just for the club as a whole, but for him personally. To have someone like Jurgen Klopp with the players that we have in the team and the success we've had, to have someone like Jurgen Klopp to back you 100% must be absolutely. You must go to bed at night not even wanting to sleep because you don't want that feeling to stop in your body, and then first thing you wake up in the morning, you're like, wow, I called it a few weeks ago. I believe he's going to be a massive part of Liverpool's season. I really believe this kid is good enough to come in, not come straight in and play week in, week out. He's not going to disappoint when he does play. I just think everything he touches like turns to gold. The goals he scores, the assists he's teed up, his work rate, his energy, just that vibe. You need something like that in the team. You know, you need that child in the team. That vibe that he gives off is just infectious. You know, and with the players that we have in the team, and we see that bonding together in the second, it's so exciting to see what this guy can do next season. Absolutely. I really cannot wait to see what he does.
Yeah, and a very a kid for his age and stuff like that, very serious about his football, which I really like to see. This kid, you see him when he's on the pitch and stuff like that, he's battling away hard all the time. Doesn't shirk a tackle, all that kind of stuff. Abundance of skill.
I really do think that he's going to be better than he was last year. If any Liverpool fan has not seen anything from that, like if you didn't see what we seen last season when he was with Blackburn, you didn't watch any of the championship stuff, please just even go back and watch his best bits on YouTube. This kid is legit, the real deal, and in 5 or 6 years' time, this guy is going to be one of the top players in the world. I put my neck out there and say that I really do believe that this guy has the hunger, desire, and the passion, and to be at a club like Liverpool where the fans feel that passion as much as players like that do. You know, this kid is really going places. I cannot wait to see what's happening in the future for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Liverpool announced they're kicking off the pre-season programme Monday the 12th, heading off to Austria. Fixtures, of course, to be announced. But yeah, this is Monday is D-Day. This is the beginning, isn't it? This is here we go, if you like, for pre-season. Kanate sounds very excited about getting stuck in. I was listening to some information from him there the other day. Really excited about pre-season. Also, you mentioned, of course, off air to me the video of promoting the new cream.
It's insane. The actual the video of the guy recording it. So there was just a fan on the outside of it recording it as it kicked off. But then the ad came out with the new shirt. So we seen the live video with the red shirt and all his friends and family and all. But then we actually seen the Liverpool released video with the new retro shirt. And yeah, man. How long has it been since, like, man, you think back like 5 or 6 years ago, this vibe, we just didn't feel it. We were finishing seasons. We couldn't wait for the seasons to finish. And then when the season starts, it was just full of anxiety and skepticism. And now it's just like everybody just cannot wait to get rocking. I can't wait for Monday. I can't wait for the inside training videos now coming out every 2 or 3 days. I can't wait to see Virgil back in training and just everyone's happy faces, Sadio, Bobby, everybody. It's just want to be part of it.
Yeah. I was watching some of the videos, the inside videos, from the photo shoots for the kids and stuff like that. No, they're absolutely hilarious, aren't they? The boys are just having a blast, because you would think, like, these are footballers, they want to train and play and stuff. So the last thing they want to do is be in the photo studio, getting photos taken for kids and stuff like that. But the lads just buzz off each other. They're always winding each other up and all. And you hear Robbo and all saying, I just need to get this first time. And the lads are behind the cameras giving them socks and stuff like that. Yeah, giving them loads and stuff. And it's just hilarious, you know what I mean?
And then you get Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain running commentary. He's sitting in the corner eating popcorn. The boys are walking in. He's like, Ma, I think you need to trim the chest hair and all. Like, no, you're not going to.
And you hear Robbo, right, let's get on with this now. We just need to get this first time. And he's rattling off the lines and stuff like that and all,
Who needs to have a comedy series? Yeah. Joe Mackett. You can't take that man serious.
Yeah, absolutely.
You cannot take that man serious. Just the facial expressions. He's absolutely gas.
Yeah, there's a great buzz around the place at the moment. Real excitement for this season on the back of everything that happened last season, of course. Fair to say, Nike came in as the sponsors, and fair to say that Liverpool fans were quite sceptical of this, although we liked the deal and we liked the money and the structure and all that kind of stuff. But the designs originally that were coming out seemed to be kind of a little bit lazy and just sort of put out there and stuff like that. But I have to say, I've really warmed to the home kit with a bit of orange and stuff like that. I think it's really nice. It's growing on me. But this new cream kit has just blown me away. When I see cream kits on Liverpool players, I think of those good days with Robbie Fowler and stuff like that. I get very excited when I see Liverpool in a cream kit. And I like that throwback collar. That real old school football kind of clothing wear. And as Liverpool fans, we get so excited about retro gear, all the crown paints and all the old stuff and things like that. The retro stuff for us is just class.
We have the missus picks me up every few months. She picks me up the old retro shorts that you can get on the Liverpool store now. I've got the 84, 85, the year I was born. Got all the crown paints. I've got the grey crown paints one stuff. I love all the retro collectible stuff. But to actually come out with a modernised retro look jersey, I like to wear the retro shorts when I'm going to games when we go over. I have all the Carlsberg stuff, the 94, 95 stuff like that. And then when I seen this one, I said to the missus, I said, yeah, I'll be having this one. She goes, you'll be fucking paying for it yourself. I said, should I pay for everything else? Why not? But, definitely when we're going to this Brighton game, that'll be definitely on me. I think a lot of people last season when the deals came out, a lot of fans were disappointed thinking a night were coming in and it was going to be next level, better than everybody else. And look, last season's jersey was nice, but it could have been better with what we were expecting. But this one has definitely knocked it out of the park. And I think a lot of fans that turned on them last year definitely winded their necks back in. And I think a lot of people are happy now. And there's talk now with this sale, this jersey sale, that we're looking at making at least 70 million off this because it's going to be such a success. So, 70 million going into the coffers.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope they release one of those old school cream sweatshirts. Remember, like Roy Evans used to wear stuff, that version of it as well. It'd be absolutely class,
Did you see the rugby jersey that Allison was modelling?
Yeah.
The 90, it's absolutely yeah, that's a bit of you, man. That's a bit of you.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Liverpool this week appointed Rashi Yang as their senior equality, diversity and inclusion manager. This is great news. I love when Liverpool do this stuff. And as part of their strategy for the Red Together program that they're running. So, this is fantastic news that they're focused on this. This is Liverpool again going out there being a leader in this area. And I really look forward to see what's going to happen in this area,
Yeah, everything, for all the success that we're having on the pitch and everything that the fans are happy about on the pitch, this was kind of stuff that went under the radar with Liverpool Football Club for a long, long time. And it's great to see that it's out in public now, that we're doing so much community work, that we're doing a lot in inequality and all. I'm very, very excited about this because it just goes to show, and I want all clubs to come out and be like this. This stuff needs to be plastered front and centre. This shouldn't be going under the radar. Your success on the pitch should be matched by your success off the pitch. And that's what I love about Liverpool the last few years, is that as the team's been getting better, all this stuff that usually was painted, they were painting the picture behind the scenes is front and centre now as well. So yeah, exciting times for the team, for the club as a whole, and that global brand and everything that we strive for is really getting close now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see it. And really for football clubs now, they need to be leaders in this area, and they need they need to become so much more than just football clubs.
Yeah,
They need to be ingrained in the fabric
100%.
of society and leaders in these areas.
Probably the last 18, 24 months, all the stuff that's been going just in world football as a whole, off the pitch, regarding racism and equality and stuff like that, and the LGBT community, like everything is just like, it's kind of just locking in together now. It's binding as a whole. Now, you're never going to eliminate the element, and I said that a load of times on our report here, the mashup, that you'll never banish it altogether, but just believe that stuff like this and clubs being front and centre about it is going to push the negativity away, and those people that are cowards and hide behind keyboards and stuff like that, they will be backed into a corner and they will be found out. And look, again, it's up to the justice system. These people need to be made an example of. So look, as everything is pushing towards a new level, that's the point. That's what we really strive for here, is that these people do get found out and they are named and shamed and not let off lightly.
Yeah, absolutely. Little bit of a plug for a Liverpool fan out there, Stuart Prescott, who's going to cycle from John O'Groats to Land's End later this month in the charity cycle, supporting Cystic Fibrosis Trust and Chance to Shine. This is great news. Guy's going to put himself out there for this cycle to lend the breadth of the country nearly, you know what I mean? And we'll watch his progress throughout the whole month and see how he gets on, and we'll report back on it and stuff like that. But absolutely super.
We definitely just want to say, just regarding Stuart Prescott, we're definitely going to keep updates on our Shankly sessions, but I don't know. I'm gonna try and reach out. I'd love to get him on the podcast and have a chat about why he's doing it, the exact reasons why he's doing it. You know, plug those links to the FundMe pages and stuff like that. Big credit to the man. I'd love to have the time. Not saying that I don't, but I'd love to get involved in something like that through before the end of the year. Get a few Liverpool fans on. Just go out and not necessarily a cycle, but go out and do something to raise some money towards, and maybe we could get the listeners and our subscribers to come to an agreement on a charity that they select, maybe do a poll, and whatever money we can raise just to go to them. But if anyone's listening, or probably ourselves, we might try and get in touch. But if we can get him on the Shankly sessions, just in the middle of all the madness that he's going to be going through, and just have a chat with him and why exactly he's doing it, would be great. So anyone knows Stuart Prescott, tell him the boys here at Shankly Sessions, we're looking for him to come on and have a chat, and tell him what a hero he's going to be to a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll try and get him on. I want to have a chat with him about his Liverpool fanship as well and stuff like that, as well as the charity stuff that he's doing. But yeah, this is a great stuff out there. Again, Liverpool fans showing what it's all about, you know. So fantastic. Let's touch on some fixture news here. The Leeds game and the Brentford game have been rescheduled because of broadcasting and stuff like that. So just to let fans know, quick update that the trip to Ellen Road will now kick off at 4:30 on Sunday, September the 12th. However, if the Reds have a Champions League match on the Tuesday, September the 14th, the game versus Leeds will be played at 5:30 on Saturday, September the 11th. So if you're making any plans to head over to that match, just be careful with your travel arrangements and stuff like that. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you know what's happening there. Obviously,
definitely, because there are a few stupid people out there that they just see the published date and go and get tickets, and then they get over there and they're like, interesting. I thought there was a game today and it was yesterday.
Yeah. Well, if you're guys like us who go over, we always make a weekend of it, so it wouldn't affect us.
Come over with us.
Yeah, come over with us, yeah. Also, the Brentford game will now take place at 5:30 on Saturday, September the 25th, and both fixtures will be shown live on Sky Sports, and all times are BST, as always. So yeah, so just a bit of fixture update for fans out there. So if you are booking trips away, always keep an eye on the Shankly sessions. We'll always bring you the latest news on any fixture changes and updates and stuff like that as well. Just thought I'd put that out there this week.
Just touching on that, Niall. Sorry, if you have the Premier League app there for listeners, you get the option for notification. So regarding fixtures, so if you have that app, it automatically syncs to your Google Calendar. So anytime fixture times or dates are changed, you get an email and a notification. So I highly recommend. I have on my own phone. A lot of the lads do, but I definitely recommend that, because as the season goes with cup competitions and Champions League and stuff like that, could be last minute changes, but they are going to happen, and you need to be kind of switched on regarding that, because these trips are costing a lot of money this season. Regarding with trips, no fixtures last year, or no trip away for lads. A lot, I'm not going to name name travel agencies, but we got trips last year that were probably a third of what they're costing now, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous. So if you were to pay that money and miss out on a trip like that, you know, we are out of pocket a lot of money.
Yeah, and it's always, you know yourself, when you're changing flights or anything like that, you always get screwed over and stuff like that. And also, it's very difficult game day to get hotel and accommodation in Liverpool. It goes through
100%.
the roof and stuff
And
like
if
that.
you do, it's through the roof.
Yeah, so if you are making arrangements, make sure you're tuned in and you have all the latest news of what's happening with those fixtures in terms of moving around because of European fixtures or in terms of broadcasting changes and stuff like that. We don't want any fans going over disappointed and stuff like that. Also, next week we'll be bringing you our own schedule of fixtures where we will be heading over to Liverpool. And if any Liverpool fans are out there or planning on heading over to the same match, hit us up and we can do a bit of podcast, a bit of live reaction, all that kind of stuff. Have chats outside the ground. We'll be heading up to the park at the Albert and all these different places, doing a few podcasts on the road where we take the Shankly sessions on a road trip.
Just on that too, if anyone's seen Anchorman 2 or Anchorman 1, where the news crew's meeting for a fight, the Shankly sessions will be taken on the Redmen TV outside the Albert.
You'll have to grow out the mustache.
Oh, don't worry, I can get that going.
Absolutely. So that's just a little bit of an update with you for some fun we're going to be doing there. Shout out to the Redman TV. Absolutely awesome. Yeah, quick look at transfers. Obviously, Saul Niguez is high up on the news at the moment. You hit me up yesterday with the Better Call Saul.
And you had no idea what I was talking about.
I was half asleep on the bed. I'd had such a long week of podcasting and stuff like that. I was just worn out between podcasting and work. And I thought something had happened on an episode of Better Call Saul. So I messaged and said, what's this about? And you go, are you asleep or what? Saul Niguez. So I got pretty excited, jumped up and I started having a look. But yeah, certainly interest there, all right, isn't there? And it's taking momentum.
Man, this is so out of blue, and you know, we've not got though the Fabrizio Romano nailed on source or the James Pearson. From what I've gathered, it's very, very close. The only thing that needs to be kind of ironed out is the pay cut, which Liverpool are offering a nice bonus, I believe, to make up for the pay cut. This happens, man. I just see that Xavi, obviously not that level. Just if this happens, just see that Xavi and Iniesta link up with Thiago, that Spanish flair in the middle of the park. And as we talked about last week, before this kind of started rolling a bit faster, like if you have to pick a midfield trio of Henderson, Thiago, Fabinho, Saul Niguez, you know, man, if we get our back five back to how we know it is, and the boys are firing on all cylinders up top with Jota waiting to come in, or Mane waiting to come in, or Bobby waiting to come in, and you have that any three in the middle of the park, man. We cannot wait. I've been saying this since the season finished. I cannot wait for next season to start. If we get this deal done, man, this one is going to be fire.
And then you throw the cream kid into the equation. Oh my God, it's exciting times for us boys, isn't it?
Unbelievable, yeah, man. Like to go from 10, 15 years ago being linked with players that you'd rather go playing with 10 men than sign these people, to what we're being linked with now, man, after all that misery. Thoroughly deserved, may I add, but yeah, man, it's just such an exciting time for the club. That's why, like, I forgot we were going to WrestleMania. I said it to you last night on the phone. I was like, shit, we're going to WrestleMania in April, and how excited I was. But I'm even more excited to go over to Anfield. I cannot fucking wait, man. Like, some of the best times of my life over there. And going to see Liverpool against Brighton, and you could be watching Mo Salah banging in goals and Saul Niguez just sitting in the middle of the park, like just with a fucking smoke and a can, because the rest of the team is doing so great. And he's just sitting there, just like, this is great. Wouldn't have come here earlier? It's just, cannot wait, man.
And just the thoughts of Jamie Webster having to create those new songs and everything else and all, you know.
Yeah, he was more excited to meet us than we were to meet him that day, wasn't he?
Yeah. I was listening to an interview with him the other day. He was talking to Carragher, and he was concerned, and this is crazy, like, you know, but he was concerned. I think he mentioned in it to Carragher that because of all the lockdown and COVID and the no gigs and all that kind of stuff and all, he thought the fans might have forgotten about him. And I was there going, what? Not a chance.
I tell you what, My iPod broke for the gym, so I love listening to music. It's my kind of way of zoning out. If I go for a walk or a jog or I'm in the gym, I love music. If you listen through my playlist, I've got from Andrea Bocelli to fucking Megadeth. Like, just I love music as a whole. But that Jamie Webster song he brought out after we won the league, there, my city, my people, my heart. If you haven't listened to it, guys, bang that one on repeat. It's fucking. I'll never. Jamie Webster, man, he's just took Liverpool he's helped the club go to another level because those fan songs, he's put his own rhythm to them, and it's just taken off big time. If you haven't listened to Jamie Webster, just go and listen to him playing in Madrid before the Champions League final. I'll rest my case.
And also does a stellar job when he's up at Hotel TIA. We've been there a few times, and
Yeah,
the place
that
does
was
be
even
just
like
hopping.
when we went to the Everton game and all, and even though it was an FA Cup game, and I think the fans knew we'd have a second string out and all, and he's like, "We're playing the fucking blue and white shite, fucking come on!" And I'm giving it loud record, and I'm looking around like, where are all these people like not like me and all, and everyone's just pissed drunk. But yeah, he's one of our fucking heroes now, isn't he? He's getting to meet him that day. We're like, Jamie, you can get a picture. And he's fucking course you can, mate. I was like, you're so small. Stand up on the step there, will you, pal? At the arm around him all. It's just, yeah, absolutely class. It's just everything he's done. He said it himself. It's just not necessarily just regarding, you see the shows he's doing with the Liverpool kids as well. Like, he's really pushed the club out on a platform. It's not just for the adults. You see some of the videos that he's done in the Olympic over in Liverpool with just the kids only shows, and he has the kids going absolutely crazy. It's just fair play to the guy. Big credit to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Wish him loads and loads of continued success. Can't wait for some of these new songs. They're going to be absolute belters without a shadow of a doubt. Last week we touched on Kingsley Coman, but Oliver Kahn has come out this week saying he's optimistic that Bayern are going to hang on to him, that they're going to enter into negotiations for a new contract. I suppose we'd be a little bit disappointed, but we weren't overly sure that it would happen. We knew there was a gap between what Bayern wanted and what we were kind of willing to offer, so it was kind of a very much a long shot. Would you say I'm re-signing, or is this a guy who needs to go out now and get consistent football?
I think it's a guy that needs to go out and get consistent football, but I think he'll only sign the new terms now because he knows that Bayern Munich won't loan him out. He's still got a player to be loaned out, and they've priced him out of a dream move to not necessarily Liverpool, but any team that's going to come in for him is going to be at the top of in the top 4 or 5 teams in their respective leagues. So they've priced him out of a dream move, that new challenge. So like, Khan is only optimistic about him signing the new terms because he knows he's kind of backed him into a corner now, and it's kind of the only option that he has, which is unfortunate because, as I said, Kingsley Coman, when he gets playing, he's a team of beauty, and an attacking five of Mo Salah, Bobby Firmino, Sadio Mane, Diogo Jota, and Kingsley Coman. It's not a bad bunch to pick from, is it?
Yeah, it's pretty decent, all right, isn't it? Lots of options there, the different styles of play and everything, also. Yeah,
we'd end up like you'd end up having your hair torn out when it comes to your fantasy football because you wouldn't know who to pick in your Liverpool players in attack. Because there's too many great options there. Look, as I said, it's very, very unfortunate unless, say, the likes of Chelsea or something who have copious amounts of money to just go out and spend at free will. It looks like he's going to stay there, which is really, really sad for him because he's so young and he's not going to play unless he goes out in pre-season and he starts the season really well with Bayern Munich. But I just see him being another big part as he was last year.
Well, again, it's down to him. I mean, if he wanted to force a move, he could force a move. It's entirely down to him. It's his desire about what he wants to do, so it'll be interesting. We've touched on Renato Sanchez already at Lille. Excellent player, had a very good Euros, played well. Certainly one I wouldn't mind see coming in, but I think there's probably a couple of names before him. But yeah, I'd still be excited if Renato signed for us. Very good player. We've already touched on him on previous episodes. I think we've been talking about Sanchez now for about probably the guts of a month at this stage. I think we've been linked with him, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Our friend Doku put up a few pictures yesterday of him on a plane going somewhere. Didn't give away the location of where he was going to land, but he's been linked with Liverpool.
Yeah, a lot of Liverpool fans got excited, didn't they, when he posted that picture? Yeah, definitely wouldn't mind. Again, like, there's so many players that we're linked with, and almost every one of them is a great player. You know what I mean? And are going to add a different flavour to what's already available in the team. Some exceptional performances at the Euros, like some really eye-catching performances at the Euros, talked about a lot, not just by English media, but like across European football after his performances. There's talks of like the queue of teams now looking to sign him up. There's a lot of flame behind him going to Liverpool now, though. You know, he brought over to Liverpool already before with his parents, you know, toured the ground. Yes, it's another very, very exciting one. It can, you know, not big money either. I don't want to say I can see this one happening, but again, very unsurprising if it does happen. Like for the names that were linked with, like Sanchez, Dake, Son, Niguez, you know.
How exciting! Imagine the excitement of seeing a Liverpool team lined out with Doku on one side and Harvey Elliott on the other side. Imagine that kind of attack. You know what I mean? And two very similar players in the way that they play. It's pick up the ball, head down, and absolutely go at it. So yeah.
I just want we should come on and get like a viewer's opinion. So we're linked with Chiesa, Tielemans, Saul, Daku, Renato Sanchez. We'll get the other 4 or 5 players that like were really being heavily linked with, like that 2 or 3 of them could possibly be signing soon. I'd love to know, like, on a broader spectrum, the players that the fans really want and where they think they'll fit in. They'll make for a great an opinionated chat, because all these players with Kanate coming in, Craven Kelleher settled down on his new deal. Adrian is now pushover, you know, as number 2. The year we won the league, 10 wins on a row. Alisson, best keeper in the world. Van Dijk coming back. Matip's back. Gomez is back. Trent was coming back into his own towards the end of the season. Robbo, the same. Konate is there now. Any one of these players that we're linked with, you know, is only going to take us to another level. And we've been crying out for it for years. We'd never had the players on the bench that the lads on the pitch would say, you know, we really need to up my game. And these players that we're linked with now are going to make those lads stick the chest up, take notes and say, right, I have to lift my game 5 more percent, 10 more percent. Otherwise, this fella's going to come in with the hunger and passion of a new club, and he's going to push me out of the team. And then I'll be sitting on the bench thinking, how am I going to get back in? It's such an exciting time for the club.
What we'll do is we'll let people drop in the comments. They know who we're linked with. We spoke about who we've been linked with over the last couple of episodes. Let us know who your preference would be to come in terms of midfield and up front. And let's see what they come up with. What we'll do is we'll also drop a Twitter post later as part of the releasing of the episode, and let people see. Let us know in the comments on Twitter who they would prefer. So that should be an interesting one to get that feedback. Player watch.
Just one second there.
Yeah, in terms of player watch, Dean, obviously Thiago bailed out with Spain. Very disappointing. Obviously put away his own penalty.
Exquisitely, mind you, exquisitely.
Yeah, just disappointing, obviously. I mean, we kind of knew when Morata stepped up, we kind of feared the worst.
We knew since the first game of the tournament regarding Morata. Enrique's lucky that he even got to the semi-finals, because had this been, as I said, if he'd have been knocked down the group stages, his head was on the top block. I do feel for him now, though, because they did, once they got out of the group stage, well, after the last game in the group, and they played really well. Italy played them at their own game. Italy just let them have the ball and absorbed it. And I just think that just wore Spain down. Once it went to penalties, Italy are the king of mind games. They're the king of the dark arts, king of the mind games. And you could see when Morata was walking up, I was watching it with the missus, and Morata was one, she's no interest in football whatsoever. Morata's walking up, and I said, it's done. And she's like, what are you even talking about? And I was like, man, you just look at that fella's face there. Does he look like someone who you would have 100% confidence doing anything. And she looked at him and she goes, I wouldn't let him feed the baby now. I swear, honest, God is honest truth. She goes, I wouldn't let him feed the baby now. He's not a bad player, but when the pressure is on him, it tells so much. You know, he needs to go away and take a massive break from football now and just switch the phone off, enjoy life with his parent. I don't know if he has kids or anything, just switch off completely. Because if he doesn't get himself in the right frame of mind, that's going to carry on into next season, and it could just end up destroying him. He's just miserable.
And it's been prevalent for a long time now with him, isn't it? That mentally he lacks something in terms of that position and stuff like that, you know.
I'm not having a go at him. I'm not having, especially when it comes to mental health, I'm not having a go at him, but you could see that the pressure was telling on him, Niall. Everybody, the whole build-up, when the team was announced that he wasn't playing, like the English punditry teams on BBC One and the Irish, and the relief in them that he wasn't playing. You know, you could tell he needed. Do you know what would have been demoralising for him too was the fact that he was publicly backed by Luis Enrique throughout the tournament and then got bombed from the team for the semi-final. That didn't help him at all.
Yeah, absolutely. What about, I suppose we should mention before we go on, I know it's a Liverpool podcast, but the balls on Jorginho to take that penalty in the way that he did, a deciding penalty and stuff like that. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, when you compare the mental attitude of Morata to Jorginho, it's opposite ends of the spectrum.
I love penalty shootouts, you know, and we all play that game when there's someone walking up. We've seen it over the years. You get defenders walking up and you're looking at them, staring at the ground. You're like, he's going to miss, and they miss. Yeah, we just kind of could tell. Morata was walking up. My missus, who doesn't even like watch football, told me she had no confidence in whatsoever. Then Jorginho walks up and I says, waiting to see his penalty. And she's like, will you fuck off and annoy me about football? I'm like, just watch his penalty. And the hop, skip and the jump and just a little, like 2 miles an hour into the bottom corner. I fucking love that. I love it. I just hate when Bruno does it, because when Bruno does it, he's talked about as he's the saviour to football. Bruno was found out this European tournament. I'm not having a go at United, but maybe I am. But Bruno's found out this tournament that he's not a big game player. He's done nothing since the turn of the year. There you go with Jorginho. Penalty to get your team into the European Championship final. And to have that ball, do you know who remind me of? Didn't do exactly like him. When Pirlo scored that penalty against England in 2012, the Panaka down the middle, you have to have balls of steel to do that. And
absolutely. And so it's so frustrating for a goalkeeper because you're there and the ball is only barely going by it, but you're there, but you're frozen and you can't move. Yeah, because you're elsewhere. You can't switch on that quick. So yeah, outstanding from Jorginho. Shout out there. We said we put that in there obviously for Kelly. He'll enjoy that. Here's one we're kind of torn on, obviously, as Liverpool fans. Hendo makes it to the final, representing England, but obviously he's our Liverpool boy and we love him to bits and stuff like that. I mean, what you're thinking? I mean, it's hard not to support him, isn't
it? This is my opinion on it, right? We're Irishmen, we hate the English because of the history, you know? Okay, that's where it ends for me. We support Liverpool. Liverpool, now, most Scousers will tell you we're Scouts, not English, but Liverpool is an English team. There was a time when England had 6 or 7 Liverpool players in it. Players who we support week in, week out. We've cried with them. We've shared moments that we'll never probably share again with them. Okay, they go to a European tournament. You can't say you hate Jordan Henderson because he's in an England shirt. He's a Liverpool player. He's our captain. We sat and celebrated 10 years of him a few weeks ago. If Jordan Henderson wins the European Championships tomorrow night, I hope he doesn't. If he does, he'll be the first ever Englishman to lift the Premier League, Champions League, the World Club Championship, the European Super Cup, and the European Championship. I'll rest my case. I hate how they've got to the final, because I have friends from Liverpool and they might watch this, and we've already spoken about, so it's not new what I'm going to say. These guys they're older than me. Dave, Jamie, Mark, Bill, Hem. These lads are much older than me. when the European Championship started, they hated England. These are old school Scousers, the Margaret Thatcher regime. They hate England. There's a case of we're Scouts, not English. The longer they went into the tournament, the opinion started changing. Okay, now I wasn't on the group saying I fucking hate England. Obviously, I throw in the odd message saying I hope England don't win it. Once England got to the final, Sterling died. Let's be honest. Anyone that can sit here and say that that was a penalty shouldn't be a football fan. Shouldn't be a football fan. It wasn't a penalty. Denmark got robbed. Okay, when I put that into the WhatsApp group and said they shouldn't be there, it wasn't a penalty. How the referee even blew the whistle? It was a blatant dive. He's a history of it. You get the whole bitter Irish man. The Irish hate the English. Blah blah blah. All this shit. So I said, lads, right, well, look back to the start of the tournament. You just hated England. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Screenshot the messages, and they were like, "No, it's different now." I was like, "It's not different now." Could you imagine the witch hunt had that been a Denmark player and England got knocked out in the semi-final? Can you, Niall, I'm asking you personally, can you imagine the shit show that would still be ongoing now, the protests that would be going on regarding why Denmark got away with it?
Yeah, well, we covered some of it in our Euros preview of the final and look back at the semi-final. But I have to say, although you get the dive there and stuff like that, this is coached into players these days. They're told to go down if there's any contact at all. Now, there must have been some contact, but I agree with you. Certainly not enough to put him on his back.
Not a chance.
But VAR had a look at it as well, and there must have been a certain amount of contact. Because if there was no contact, you're in a very dangerous game. But again, we were more concerned about the fact that there was 2 balls on the pitch and the match wasn't stopped.
And the laser in the eye.
Yeah, and the laser. Well, the laser in the eye wouldn't be something that the referee could pick up on, in fairness, you know. Yeah. But certainly the 2 balls on the pitch would have been something that him and the linesman shouldn't have missed. But I just think, I know we talk about their path to the final and we talk about the Denmark game and stuff like that and all. But look, the draw is the draw. You can't do anything about the draw. You can only play the teams that are in front of you. And look, they did play against Germany and they did play against Denmark. And they were potentially on a draw side with Holland and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So they can only go with whatever way the results evolve to who they have to play. And I think when people talk about things like the easy draw, you know, when they talk about Southgate, I mean, we have to start putting a bit of respect on it as well, as much as it hurts us. I mean, Southgate has done an outstanding job for a guy who I was very critical of in our previews of the Euros and stuff like that.
So was I. But I think we all were.
It's very hard. It's very hard to doubt his thinking now, because from a tactical point of view, he's been absolutely sublime against good teams like Denmark and Germany. And I agree, yeah, you know, by getting to a final, you always need a little bit of luck as well. And unfortunately, the draw was heavily weighted on one side, which sort of robbed us of some of the fixtures that we love to see at the Euros, you know.
But come here, it could have been the flip side, you know. England could have been on the tougher side of the draw. It could have been Italy that got that draw. One thing I will say, though, is I'm not going to say credit to them or respect to them. You still have to be who you're put in front of. And in knockout football, we've seen it in Champions League. We've seen it in World Cups. Shit happens. You know, you could go out and have an off day. You could have the best team under the sun and go out and play the worst team under the sun and just have an off day and lose, you know. So they still had to go out and do a job. It just, I think, being Irishman, I just think it's a bit of taste in the mouth that...
It is, without a shadow of a doubt.
But as I said, you know, you have to go out and... Look, the draw is the draw. People knew about the draw before, what way it was going to work before the tournament even started. Fortunately for England, they were on that side. It could have been the other way around. Whereas, can you imagine what people would be saying if England had been on the tougher side of the draw and had to be Spain, and had to be France, and had to do this and had to do that? Would people still kind of hold back on the respect and the credit? Because look at Southgate, the decisions he's made. He's left Foden out, he's left Sancho out, you know. Whereas you look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he's afraid to leave the big names out. Solskjaer went in there, or Southgate went in there, and I said before the tournament that I didn't really respect him and I didn't really give him any credit for anything. He went in there and, like Roy Keane said, went in there with that mean streak and made the decisions that he needed to make. And England have got to their first major tournament final since 1966. And if he wins, he's getting a knighthood. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even people were questioning him, even starting with that midfield of Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips. But like
it's worked for them the whole way through the tournament. You don't change as much as we would have loved to see Jordan Henderson in there. The boys have worked endlessly in there. I just had to take a quick call there.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I just think he's been. I think his decision making has been outstanding, and something that I was naive to it in the beginning. I wasn't sure. I mean, I wasn't even sold on Southgate as an England manager anyway. I thought it was a very safe bet that the FA placed. But I just think he stepped up here, and look, there's been a lot of critics, and not just us, and not just even on the English side of things in the media and stuff like that. There's been a lot of critics at time about this guy, but I think the nation this time. It's funny when you look at it. The nation has galvanised itself. They're behind the team, behind the players, behind the manager, behind everything. There's no infighting. Even the stuff with Mount and stuff like that happened, that was knocked down very, very quickly and swept away. That this wasn't going to get involved. They weren't going to let the press get involved. They weren't going to let the media, bring this wave of stuff that affects them all the time and stuff like that. And I just think he's done an outstanding job. But having said all that now, what is the prediction? Because I know you won't be on again before the final. So what is your prediction for Sunday evening?
Look, when England got through, obviously I want Italy to win. I just don't see anything stopping England now. I'm going to say 2-1 in extra time. I just can't see anything stopping England now. I just think there's too much momentum. The whole nation we've seen the pictures, we've seen the videos. Everything is just lining up for them now. I'm just looking at the squad. I think Spinazzola, the left back off field, I think he is a massive loss for them. That back four Italy is like Liverpool's back four for that 2 years, the Champions League win and the league win. I think Spinazzola being out is a massive loss for them. I'm going to say England 2-1 in extra time, as much as that pains me. But just regarding the critics and Gareth Southgate, regardless of the outcome tomorrow night, those critics need to eat humble pie and come out and give the man credit for what he's done. Because I didn't give England hope of getting out of the group stages. So regardless of the outcome tomorrow night, the man deserves to be put on a pedestal with a massive spotlight and given the credit he deserves, because a lot of people are going to eat humble pie regardless of the outcome tomorrow night. But we're going to say England 2-1 in extra time, but I don't want them to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see now. I mean, it's like, I think the nation would be so disappointed if they didn't get over the line, because that wave has been there of them. And it's kind of a wave that you need as well when you've come through the year that we've had with COVID and stuff like that, It's good to see people out again smiling, enjoying football, and even seeing the fans at the stadiums and stuff like that. It's like,
Irish people are going to be like that when you can have a point in a pub. Never mind get to a European final. So
yeah, but I even, you know what I mean? I even looked at the footage there the other day before the Denmark game, and you've Skinner and Badil in the crowd, and they're singing the song and stuff like that. And all, you know what I mean? And I know it pains us, that stuff, but it kind of brings a slight smile to you, doesn't it, when you see people out there again enjoying themselves and living again and stuff like that.
If Italy win, though, will we need to do a remix and bring out "It's Going Rome, It's Going Rome, It's Going"?
We'll have to release something, yeah, absolutely. But really looking forward for a great weekend of sport, of course. McGregor coming up against Poirier as well. And also we have the Copa America coming up and getting onto the Copa America final. Brazil versus Argentina. This is Neymar versus Messi. But we have a huge vested interest in this with Alisson and Fabinho.
This is Bobby Firmino versus Messi. Fucking Neymar. Do one, you little fucking nonce.
What you thinking on this one? I think this is Brazil, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Brazil is written all over. I just think they'll have too much. I just hope it doesn't go to penalties and you have Emilio Martinez telling you that he has your brother in a basement somewhere and playing mind games with you. Yeah, so I just think Brazil firing on all cylinders has way too much for kind of Messi-driven Argentina. One thing though that I'll miss about this one is that it won't be a full stadium. The atmosphere tomorrow night for that would have been insane. It's a shame that's going to be behind closed doors. But my prediction on that, I think Brazil are going to give them a good thumping. I'm going to say 3 or 4-1.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's set up for Brazil. They have been outstanding all through the tournament, and not only have they got a great team, but they've also got a great bench as well. You know what I mean? They've strength all over the place. But I was sort of thinking when I was reading into this today, and I was thinking, if there was ever a picture that defined the impact that COVID has had on the world, is a match being played with Brazil and Argentina in the final of a Copa of America with an empty Maracanã. I just, you know what I mean? That there is your picture of what the impact of COVID has been on the world in the last year.
And especially in Brazil, who have been one of the worst hit countries by COVID as well.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what winning the Copa America is going to do for the country as a whole? Yeah. Now, it's only a game of football, but Brazil is the home of football, you know what I mean? And winning the Copa America tomorrow night is going to be a massive boost for the country as a whole. They've absolutely been devastated by COVID. But yeah, if they're going to make a documentary about it, I think they'd finish it off with an empty Maracanã hosting the Copa America final, wouldn't they?
It's crazy, isn't it, when you think about their fans, so colourful, so boisterous, so religious about their football.
The dancing, the face painting, the headgear, the bright yellow jersey. It's one of the most famous jerseys in football, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then on the other side of their main rivals in Argentina as well, you know what I mean? And it's just crazy, isn't it, to think that event would take place.
Who lost Maradona in the footballing year as well. So, if they win, it's going to be the big dedication to Maradona. Brazil win, it's just a dedication to the country as a whole. Like it's kind of, this is the COVID final. I know it's hit the world globally, but as sporting, like you look at the European final tomorrow, it's going to have a massive crowd, 60,000 in Wembley the other night for the semi-final. The way Brazil has been hit with COVID and just the football and year kind of finishing off with that, it's just kind of blowing out the candle. Now, COVID is still around and all, but as I said, like if you're going to do a documentary in a few years' time, I guarantee it, that'll be talked about. It's that final in an empty Maracanã and we talked previously, like they wanted to scrap the competition. The Brazil players were talking about boycotting it, and here we are now, 3 weeks later in the final, and chancing them to win it.
And there's been some outstanding football. So it's always great at these times in the world when we're faced with these things that like sport and football and all wins out in the day, you know what I mean? And it provides us with that entertainment that we need, that keeps us trucking along. It also probably lays down a marker that this is probably the event between this and the Euros that we now move on from COVID and we start opening back up and everything starts trying to get back to some sense of normality.
So as I said, blown out the candle on the kind of the empty stadiums, stuff like that, because when the Premier League comes back, it's full stadiums, and look, long may it continue. We're all praying and hoping. I know a lot of people say it's only football, but you talk to 1 in 2 or 1 in 3 people, football is their everything, and it's got them through this period.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been your weekly dose of everything Liverpool FC, and as Ian would say, and a little bit of everything in between. Head over to YouTube, Dynamo Podcast Network, for the videos of the show. We'll be up there on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean. If you want audio versions of the show, you can hit us up on Twitter, hit us up in the comments. Anything you'd like to discuss, if you want to come on as a guest, anything that you want to do, this is your show, and we will talk to you again next week. Cheers, Dane.
See you later, my man. Take care, pal.